Hello everyone, this is Miss Caballero. Today we're going to talk about plagiarism and how to avoid it. To start with, we're going to try to understand why people plagiarize. Maybe because they think it's easy just to copy and paste, or they think they can't write well enough, maybe because they don't understand what the concept means exactly, or because they're procrastinating. That means that they leave everything until the end and they run out of time, so they end up copying and pasting in the last minute before turning their projects in. So, what do we know about plagiarism? Let's start with the definition that the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary says. Plagiarize is to steal and pass off the ideas or words of another as one's own. Use another's production without crediting the source. So, um, this is interesting. The word plagiarism comes from the Latin word plagiarius, which means kidnapper. And if you think about it, it is to steal. To plagiarize is to steal something from someone else. Let's see some facts about plagiarism. If we copy and paste from any source without giving credit to it, we're plagiarizing. As we mentioned before, it is considered theft of intellectual property, and copying someone else's ideas is cheating and it is illegal. Giving credit to the sources you use during your research projects will prevent you from plagiarizing, so always remember to cite your sources properly. Now, let's talk about how teachers can identify work that's not original. If a teacher suspects that a student didn't write their project, maybe because the language might seem sophisticated for a sixth grader, they are able to verify this by copying a paragraph or a sentence or a section of the work and pasting it directly into Google. This way, it will show exactly where the student got it from. Other tools like Turnitin are also used with the same purpose. They're designed to analyze a text and verify its originality. Now we're going to review some types of plagiarism. Even though there are many variations, we'll talk about the most common ones. The first one is cloning, which is the act of presenting somebody else's work as one's own. The next one is recycling, and it is considered self-plagiarism. How can this happen? Well, it is the act of presenting one's own previous work and submit it for another class. Not including proper citations is also considered plagiarism. Let's see some examples. The mashup is the act of taking information from different sources without citing them. There's also the aggregator, which may include proper citations or not, but almost everything is copied and pasted from one or more sources, and there's no original work present in the project. Okay, so it's also important to understand what are some of the consequences that students may face for cheating. And some may include failing a project or redoing the paper, or something more drastic like being expelled from school immediately. But one that you need to keep in mind, and it's super important to acknowledge, is that some universities or colleges or even high schools may mark your academic records permanently with an academic dishonesty note that will follow you for the rest of your student life. So keep it in mind. Now, let's review what can be done when doing research in order to avoid plagiarism. One of the first things is to use direct quotes, which means to write down the exact words from the original source and identifying them by using quotation marks at the beginning and end of the sentence. Then we have paraphrasing or indirect quotes. This is to take the ideas from the sources, understand them, and writing them in your own words. Finally, also including your own ideas in the paper, which is what your teachers actually want to hear from you. But how do we know when to use them? Direct quotes are used to highlight an idea and to explain something better than in your own words. It's also used for writing sayings from famous people. Remember to identify them by using quotation marks at the end and beginning of the sentence. To paraphrase is to explain someone else's ideas, presenting them in a new form. Basically, what you do is to read paragraphs and sentences from different sources, understand what they are saying, and then trying to put them in your own words when you're writing. Finally, you're going to write about your own ideas of the topic you're talking about, which is what the teachers actually want to hear from you. So the last step is to talk about how to cite your sources. But first, let's understand what a source of information is. When you're researching, you come up with a lot of information from different places: books, encyclopedias, magazines, or websites. But you might also interview an expert in a topic, read some letters, or watch some videos. All of these are considered sources of information and need to be cited properly. Furthermore, some of you may also include images, pictures, and music in your projects. Remember to cite those as well. So the purpose of a citation is to give information to the reader of our paper about the sources we use during our research. We can say that the most important pieces of a citation are the author's name, of course, because you're giving credit to that person who's the creator, title of the work, the place of publication, the date, and the publisher. When we talk about websites, we need to add a few more things, such as the title of the article that you're getting from the website, who's the sponsor organization, and the date you accessed. Let's see an example here. So, a bibliography, references, or works cited is a list of sources, books, websites, periodicals, etc. that you use in a research project. Here at ASF, we use a MLA format. And as I said before, the basic information that you will need to present is at least the author's name, the title, either if it's a book, an article, or a website, the place of publication, if you can find it for the websites, the publisher or container, which would be the sponsoring organization, copyright date, the date you accessed, and the URL address in case of a website. Finally, let's review what we just saw. Remember to use direct quotes in a limited way for specific situations. Indirect quotes or paraphrases, trying to put in your own words what you get from your research. Writing your own ideas, which is what your teachers want to hear from you. Finally, citing your sources properly. And if you have questions or doubts, ask your teacher or the librarian. We'll be happy to help. Thanks, and see you soon. Bye.